Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, the session breakdown for God of Miracles, the new single from TRC Worship. I'm super excited about this one, and we're just going to jump right in. So check this out. Here is the session for God of Miracles. And we're just going to jump right in here. I've got all kinds of stuff already lined up. Let's see. Off the top, I think everything is in right now. Let's see what we got. Here's the intro. Very cool. First thing, that is not a guitar. That is a Harpeggi. I wrote it on Harpeggi, played it on Harpeggi. There's a bunch of cool Harpeggi parts in this song, and that is one of them. So the other two things that are happening on this right now are this swell track, and then there's just like a pad, right? So I made this pad. This pad's really, really basic, just kind of giving it a bed down here in the bottom. But it was really plain because it's just like a chord. It doesn't even move chords for like the first million measures here, first 2 or 3 minutes. And so that felt a little bit lonely. And so I recorded a electric guitar track. That's not that. That swell is a cymbal, obviously. This, the echo guitar. So, ooh, very nice. So when you layer that with our pad on the bottom, getting all kinds of neat things there. I'll put this arrangement at the top so you can see where we're at. Isn't that nice? And then what's happening underneath that, or with that, I should say. Piano, Harpeggi. And that's the intro. Let's keep moving.
He spoke to the dark and said, "Light be."
There's our beautiful Lindsay Childs vocal.
Commanded chaos.
As you can see, I actually recorded the whole thing as well. We weren't sure who was going to take the lead on this at first. Mine is embarrassingly bad. And so quiet. It's literally just muted and turned down. It was that bad. I can't even let you hear it. That's how bad it was. Maybe I'll let you hear it. Okay. All right, fine. You talk me into it. All right, here it is. Oh.
Inform the world we see. The same power lives in me.
Just not the same. Not the same with the guy vocal. It wasn't bad. It just wasn't what the song needed. Little break between the verses here. Another little instrumental section.
He led them with a cloud by day and the
Harpeggi.
fire by night. His word is a lamp that will always lead me right. The same power lives in.
Bass comes in. So what happens is you have this little instrumental thing, and then the bass starts doing its thing, right? So we have this intro, or this intro into the second verse. So coming out of the first verse, there's coming out of the first verse, we have this little instrumental thing, and it also is the moment that we introduce the bass. Bass is actually a lot more overdriven than some might think. It not only was played through an Ampeg plugin that was already very aggressive, but then after said Ampeg plugin, these things also got cranked on it pretty hard, right? The compression's up doing quite a bit. Every note, pulling that up, tightening it up, all of those things. The bass is pretty aggressive tonally in this song, right? So there we go. Verse 2, and then here comes our first chorus.
He's the God of miracles.
singing just to lift it, right? We need a little bit of something extra. The drums came in right at the beginning of that chorus, started doing some righty things, and then we needed something else that was going to introduce back half of the chorus. Lindsay singing
He's the God of
with herself.
miracles. God of
If you listen really close on good speakers, you can actually hear her the piano bleeding into her microphone right here.
God
Never got rid of it.
miracles.
We're pros. We're pros.
He spoke to the wind and the waves and they obeyed.
Verse 3.
Made a path through the river when there was no way. The same word lives in
Drums are in here. That is the
me.
big thing that kind of came in. And then we also have some acoustic guitars that have come in at this point as well. The acoustic guitars kind of snuck in back here in the verses, right? So we had an acoustic guitar that was kind of coming in with some of this stuff. And then actually right as this recording started, I got blessed with a Taylor GS Mini, which I immediately high-strung. And the high-strung comes in right on this chorus. There's the high-strung. A high-strung guitar is this. This really fast. This is a high-strung guitar. A high-strung guitar is, some people call it Nashville. This little GS Mini is perfect because it's tiny and it's perfect for that. It's probably completely out of tune. Not too bad. A high-strung guitar is basically the 6 high strings from a 12 string, right? So you don't have to. It's just the high. It's the high side of a 12 string, and it adds a ton. It adds a ton of texture to just basically anything. Listen how pretty this is on our track here. Here it is. Just super pretty. I did 2 passes of this. I was going to pan them left and right. That's the reason this is called high strung right. I did lean it to the right, but really what happened is I was getting some phasing issues and some other just rhythm timing stuff, and so it sounded really good. It didn't add enough to fight and get those passes right. So we ended up with just 1 high strung. Fun fact as well, if you look close, this acoustic guitar part has half of this is muted. I accidentally recorded it in stereo with a mono signal, but it sounded so good, I left it. Now we're back into the chorus, and we're going to get something cool that is going to come into the chorus. Basically, my favorite part of this entire production. Coming into this chorus, we're going to hear the choir for the first time.
Lives free. He's the God of miracles.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is me and Eden Hale. Let's take a listen. We got it in a folder here. Let's pull this stack down here. And I want you guys to hear the choir. So this is the first pass.
God of
Miracle.
No, me singing normally.
God of
We'll put Lindsay's lead in here too.
miracles.
Second pass.
God of
Actually, let's solo them up.
miracle.
That is me holding my nose and singing.
God of miracle.
Hallelujah.
Glory to God.
God of
All right, there's my second pass. Third pass.
God of
All chest.
miracle.
Very chesty. That pass.
God
Fourth pass.
miracle.
The high part.
God of miracle.
You can see they're panned in different directions, so they sound like they're all over the place.
God of miracle.
Another high part with this kind of this grand ball thing happening. All right. And then down here, the lovely Eden Hale, fresh off of waking up. She was still like wrapped in her blanket. It was super cute. And then here's her first pass.
God of miracle.
There she is, very normal. And notice she's also not saying miracles, because when you have 15 different takes, say miracles, you end up with so 9 million S's on this. So everybody in the choir and everybody in the background vocals for the entirety of the track is singing God of Miracle. So if you end up being on the River Church choir at any point, do not end your vocal pass with an S. If you say miracles, it sounds really bad. All right, here we go.
God of miracles.
Isn't she pretty? Third pass for Eden.
God of
Ah, there's her holding her nose. See what else we got down here. Another harmony part, but her holding her nose for it. And then, ladies and gentlemen, I give you the musical debut of Isla Grayhill. She came in. She wanted to see what we were doing. And this is the cutest thing you've ever heard.
God of miracle.
Ooh, let's turn this repeat off and just listen to the Isla Gray.
God of miracle.
Oh,
God of miracle.
isn't she sweet? Okay, now when all of these things, when the power, look at all of those tracks, all of that gets stacked together, and we end up with this.
God of miracle.
We also have Lindsay's lead
God of miracles.
and Lindsay's harmony.
He's the God of miracles. God of miracles.
That one's a little bit flat, but it's
He's
cool.
the God
You
of
can hear it in context, it still works.
miracles. Miracles.
Still works.
He's the God of miracles.
There's our harmony.
God of miracles.
Everything.
He's the God of miracles. God of miracles.
Cool echo guitar part right here. Very shimmery. That is the Tim Henson Neural DSP plugin. Just straight in. It's actually, I adjusted some of the harmonization on one of the presets. Actually, I changed it quite a bit, so I ended up saving it down. If you have the Neural DSP or a Quad Cortex and you like this tone, ask me. I'll send it to you. Just a cool kind of ethereal, wannabe big sky thing. But that's the Tim Henson Neural DSP plugin. Very, very nice sound. Now we're into our instrumental. This is same thing. This is arpeggi and piano playing that melody there. I just really wanted that simple kind of melody thing. I love this drum solo right, or this drum pickup right here. This fill.
The greater one in me
Love that.
will speak miracles. The greater
Echoes.
one in me
I finally
will
made my debut here on the lead part.
Miracle.
Whoa, settle down, bro. A little aggressive.
speak miracles. The greater one in
Mix way down. This is mixed.
will speak miracles. The greater one in me.
It's angry.
Miracle.
Whoa. Somebody needed to be turned down and was. Settle down.
The greater one in me will sing.
frets on the and now we're in our final courses and we're playing a completely different chord progression. So up until now we've been playing 1 4 1 4 1 4. If that doesn't mean anything to you, don't worry about it. It's just music ease, music theory stuff. We've been playing 1 4 over the course the entire time. I wanted to lift into something entirely different in these final courses, and so instead of going 1 to 4 1 to 4 1 to 4 in the chorus, we now go 1 minor 5 and then to the 4 chord. And when you borrow minor chords from the same key, so basically we're taking a chord from the key of C minor, we're playing it in the key of C major, the song is in the key of C major, and when we go to that G minor chord, that 5 minor, it just lifts in a really cool way. You hear it for the first time on this punch. Right here, G minor, F major. That is the G minor chord. I love that into this ending. Sounds really, really nice. And the other thing that we get right here is the Esquire Telecaster, and then the Steve Vai Pia come in strong on that 4E and as well right here. Whoa! In the mix, you can't really hear that is absolutely cranking. It's huge. There's that, just the Pia. Lots of heavy overdrive. And then the Esquire, the 75th anniversary Esquire has become probably my favorite rock and roll face melting guitar. And I have a lot of guitars. And that one by far, it cuts, but it's not brittle. It's an amazing sound. So that Esquire pine body, and every time I hear it, I feel higher than a Georgia pine. Here it is. Love that tone. Here it is with the Pia playing the heavy bottom of those chords. With everything. Also, ladies and gentlemen, making his musical debut, the co-writer of this song, Pastor Mike Childs, played the sub bass. This is the most songs these days. I would say 9 out of 10 songs that we play in praise and worship have 2 bass parts. They have a key bass part that's usually a minimum of 1 octave underneath the regular bass part, and there's our regular bass, and then here's the sub bass down even further. Adds a ton of body to this part, and Pastor Mike Childs came over, played this part, sounded awesome. It gives that extra bottom end coming into this big crescendo part of the song. So not only does the electric guitar pull a bunch of new sounds and new timbres into the top end, really filling out what the cymbals are doing, playing big, but the sub bass comes in and really widens out the bottom of the mix as well. So in this section, you've got these 2 brand new, big, heavy, overdriven guitars, and you have sub bass coming in, widening out the mix on the bottom end. And we also doubled the choir coming into this last section as well. So the words changed to "Thank God for Miracles" here.
Thank God for miracles. Thank God.
And then once it goes to "He's the God of miracles,"
He's the God of miracles.
we had some. We actually recorded the God of Miracles part earlier in the song, and it felt way too early to have the choir come in. So instead of wasting a bunch of good takes of choir, as you can see, the choir's doubled, right? Because we have a double of Eden's here. We have a double of me here. We don't have a double of Isla's vocal. I don't think. Maybe is this another Isla vocal here? Maybe we did double Isla.
God.
Yeah. So Isla sang that as well. So we have a total double coming into this last chorus because we pulled it from earlier in the song where we decided not to use it. And then we just put it in this last one to make it sound huge.
He's the God of miracles. God of miracles. He's the God of miracles.
Ad-libs from me up here. Fun fact about these ad-libs, as you can see on this track, they're cut to pieces.
He's the God of. Sing it out now.
That is not where I originally said those things. I recorded way too many ad-libs and then pieced them together where I thought they made musical sense and lifted the song.
He's the God of miracles. He's the God of miracles. He's the God of miracles. He's the God of
Still playing that Tim Henson electric. I love that sound on this. It sounds so nice. Makes me want to buy a quad
The
Cortez.
greater one
Have that all
in
the time.
me will see.
Everybody's kind of fading.
The greater one in
Bass
me
stays in.
will see.
Bass is going to go up an octave here to soften this out.
The greater one in me
Bass piano vocal.
will see. The greater one in me will see.
And then just piano here. And then the chording on this, if you listen to these final four chords, they actually play differently. So to me, a chord is no different than a melody line. And so on these last chords, if you listen, the top note keeps going up. And what that does is it gives this a final lift. Usually on the end of a song, you kind of have this sun going down feeling. But to avoid that here, each time, if you listen, there's a melody that moves up. And then right here, these notes are going to keep getting higher. There you go. And so that's a great way. Inversions are a great way to make your chord progression speak. When your chord progression has melodic movement, everything else is more interesting. So here we go one more time.
The greater one in me.
You can hear this is
will
going to,
see.
that chord closes down, it gets lower. And then right here, everything's going to start moving up. There you go. So always use inversions to allow your chords to speak and to move in a way that makes sense for the song. I don't want, after we're singing God of Miracles for several minutes, I don't want to close the song out on a downer. And right, we even call it that. We call it a downer. If I let those chord notes move down or just stay uninteresting on the top, that song, this song does not end on a proverbial high note. You can hear, even in the language that I'm using, which is very normal English, you can hear the things that people always say, right? People say, oh, that's a downer. Well, if you have your musical melodies constantly moving down, especially when it's the only thing somebody's hearing and it's gotten small after it's been big, it's going to be a downer, right? And then we say that. We say, let's end on a high note. The song literally does that. That final melody moves up through those different sounds and gives some very, very cool feelings towards the end of that song. So very, very cool. Let's see if I can get my camera back here. Boom! Here we are. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for hanging for a full 25 minutes with the God of Miracles breakdown. Hope you love the tune. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Make sure you like. Make sure you subscribe. All of the things. We're going to be putting out monthly content like this, along with all the other content that we always do with Worship Plus, which is our way of helping other worship teams grow and learn. So love you guys. Thanks for hanging this whole time. Glad you dig the song, and we will see you on the next one. Love y'all.